the dial, turn it loud. Miami's pride, make us proud. CanesWear crew, you hear the crowd. Hurricanes ain't backing down. Every play, every score, raising bets and raising roar. Rocking orange, green galore. All for one and one for four. We got FTSN, taking names, win it again. Podcast fam, till the end. Tune in, now let's begin.
Hello and welcome to the CanesWear Podcast. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd, and that's a big day. We got the NFL draft tomorrow. Lots of Canes could have an opportunity to be going in the NFL. Check online. We're going to be having on our X. We're going to be having a tongue twister there. We're going to be having a nice little contest, so check on that. And give us your comments today, and we'll go ahead and gladly answer them. Lots going on with the NIL portal. So without any further ado, we want to go ahead and introduce you to our amazing, talented cast. Before we go on to that, remember FTSN is the one that is carrying this. Please like them and subscribe them. They've got an amazing NFL draft show tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, so check them out as well. So FTSN, like and subscribe. Gio and Cliff, welcome to the Wednesday show.
What's up? Happy hump day. NFL draft tomorrow. Transfer portal is buzzing. Miami's got targets. Visits have taken place, and more visits coming up over the next 3 days.
Wow. So when is the deadline for the kids have to sign?
Well, for them to sign with another school is dependent on enrollment dates at each select university. But in terms of when they have to get in the portal, if you're not a grad transfer, you have to be in by Friday at midnight, or I should say probably Friday about 5 or 6 o'clock at your university, because compliance offices, they're not going to be open at midnight for you to turn in your paperwork. So that, and then you have the 48-hour process for your name to show up in the transfer portal itself. So you'll still see some names popping in there between Saturday, Sunday, early hours of Monday. And
then they have until, did you say there was a deadline or not?
Deadline to enter, yes, if you're not a grad transfer, which is Friday.
A deadline to enter, but is there a deadline to be picked up by another team or another school?
No deadline for that.
Okay.
That's just dependent on each university's enrollment dates.
All right, great. Awesome news. Uncle Cliff, welcome back to the show. We missed you for a few weeks.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Can't wait for the draft tomorrow. I have a little party at the house here.
Oh, good. Great. Please put out the address so we can all head over there.
It'll be a long drive for you guys.
So, yes, it's so we know tomorrow the NFL draft. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about some NIL portal. Is there any break? I know a lot's been happening. We know we got since our last show. Jay Lucas got another one, a great 5-star he stole from Duke. I'm sure it's not going to be the last one. What are you hearing for how the Hurricane Hoops team, the Canes Hoops team, is doing, Gio? Well,
they got about another 4 or 5 guys that they're targeting through the transfer portal. They're after an international basketball prospect too, and Dame Sarr. That's still sort of up in the air because he's a legitimate NBA draft prospect for this year's upcoming draft in June. So we'll see how things play out there. And they also landed another commitment from the transfer portal today, local guy, and Marcus Allen, who transferred out of Missouri, now headed back home to South Florida in Miami, sunny Coral Gables, Florida, with Jay Lucas. And that program, you want to talk about stocks? Their stock is they're going up. They're moving up. They're landing guys that will contribute this year. Funny story about Marcus Allen, actually. Miami had some interest when he was coming out of high school. From my understanding of the situation, Coach L decided to pass on him when he was coming out of high school. So now it's second time around, and he's coming back home.
What high school is he from, Gio?
I know he was playing at Miami Norland at one point.
This is Marcus Allen?
Marcus Allen.
Any relation to Marcus Allen, the football player?
No.
All right, just
The one that played for USC and the Chiefs and the Raiders. No.
yes. I was actually at that Super Bowl when he had that big game against the Redskins. I was in Tampa at the time, and he was phenomenal.
Tremendous player.
Tremendous player. And the biggest thing I remember about Marcus Allen, it didn't seem like he wore any pads. He was just he wasn't bulked up at all. He just, a slender guy, but just could run and did it great for the Raiders, and then went to their arch rival, the Chiefs, and did a great job as well. But at USC, you're right, he was fantastic. That was USC used to be running back U for a while before the Canes became running back U. They had all the stars in the pros. Now it's obviously then it became the Hurricanes. So hopefully we'll continue that this year. And with Damian Martinez, we'll have an opportunity to join the great group of Hurricanes in the NFL. Let's see. Elwood, I didn't see any comments, but now I see. What's up, Elwood? Thanks for joining the show. Any other good transfer portal news, Gio, that we may have been missing out on?
Oh, ton of good stuff in terms of the football side. They got about 4 or 5 safeties they're looking at. 2 guys very much at the top. I hinted about both the safeties they were interested. One before he hit the portal. Literally, I was on a show with Amon on Saturday, and I was talking about the kid, AJ Halsey from Houston. And I said, yeah, I think he would make a lot of sense for Miami if he decided to make the decision to enter. And 2 minutes after we ended the show, news broke that he was in the transfer portal. A lot of familiarity there between him and Coach Zach Etheridge, the new cornerbacks coach at Miami. He coached Halsey at Houston during the 2024 season, and some familiarity with the rest of Miami staff too. Back when Halsey initially transferred from New Mexico State to Houston, Miami was really interested back then. So there's a lot of familiarity going on. LSU in the mix, Tennessee, Texas, those are some initial programs there. Miami is actually out tonight going to see him, paying him a visit themselves. First time they've done that for any transfer target so far in the spring portal. So he's very much highly up there for them. And then you got Wyatt Williams Jr. from Louisiana Monroe, had over 100 tackles last year, 3 interceptions, 6 passes defended, had big-time games against Texas, 10 tackles and an interception against Texas, 13 tackles and a tackle for loss against Auburn. Didn't miss a single tackle against both of those teams. So he really proved that he could play at the Power 4 level. Then you got a couple of young guys in the mix, like Gregory Smith from Florida, 6'3", 6'4", 215, 220-pound safety. Miami has interest there. He's officially in the portal as of 2 days ago. They've had some discussions already. Still working in the mix in terms of potential visit. Noah King, who was just on campus, Kansas State transfer. He's actually a 2025 recruit, 4-star guy out of the state of Ohio, top 10 in that state itself coming out of high school. So he was just on campus. He's got a couple of visits that he's rifting through as well afterwards, a couple of Big Ten teams, Illinois in there, a few other programs as well in Big 12 too. So again, those are some names at safety, but they've casted their net wide. And there's another guy at Tennessee too, a veteran guy that more of a depth piece that they're looking at. Before I even forget his name, because there's so much to remember, that is Christian Charles.
Awesome.
Gio, are we going to take, you think 2 guys, 2 safeties, or you think it's 1 and that's it, of those 5, 6 guys?
I honestly wouldn't rule out potentially 3.
Oh, wow.
Like a younger piece in terms of depth.
Yeah.
And if in a perfect world that both Halsey and Williams would want in at Miami, because Williams has got a couple other programs looking at him too. I know Houston in the mix there as well, Ole Miss. From what I understand, he was already on his Ole Miss visit today. So again, in a perfect world, if those 2 guys wanted in, great. They're 1-year guys, 1-year rentals. Halsey, honorable mention All-American last year, first team All Big 12, all the great accolades. Williams has shown that he could play against top-tier competition. So you would like to add a depth piece, a young guy that you could possibly get 3-4 years out of, Gregory Smith or Noah King. So I think they have some decisions that they'll have to make there, depending on how long this process draws out.
Okay. How many players can we still get?
Oh, well, you got 3 receivers visiting over the next 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You got Tony Johnson from Cincinnati, who's originally from Ocala, Florida. He had 6 touchdowns last season for the Cincinnati Bearcats, which led their team. He'll be on campus tomorrow and a little bit of the hours and Friday as well to the afternoon. Then on Friday, you're expected to get in Keelan Marion, who's a kick returner All-American from BYU / wide receiver. At least in terms of what Miami views him internally, a lot of upside on special teams. They feel he could do a lot on offense in terms of reverses, jet sweeps, gadget type of player, very similar to like type of mold that you would want to use a guy like Brashard Smith was used when he was at Miami, kind of similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big one, Trevor Pena, who entered the portal just last week, and he took his visit to Penn State. There was a lot of talk about Texas Tech potentially being in there. They've kind of faded away. UCLA and USC are kind of trying to vie for visits, but he'll visit Miami first of those programs, from what I understand.
Okay, great. So that's so we do have a chance at Pena. Last week, everybody was asking about him. We do have an opportunity to get him.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Coach came out saying, "Oh, I'm not paying any receiver $2 million unless it's Jeremiah Smith or something like that." Is that what he's even close to asking for?
Yeah, look, I think there's a little bit of embellishment there. I mentioned this with Amon on the previous show I was on, that I believe there's a little bit of embellishment in terms of like the actual asking number. Again, do I think a guy like Pena could command a lot more than the usual? Yeah, I think if he entered in the winter, his market may have not been as high, but right now as it stands, like he's literally been like the best receiver to be in the portal. Up until the last couple hours, you can make the argument for the Georgia State kid that just entered as 6'5" receiver.
Yeah, so
at 900 yards last year, 9 touchdowns.
6'5".
Yeah.
We haven't had a guy like that in a while. I mean, we've we played Florida State a couple of years ago. They had 2 of those skyscrapers. We played Virginia. They've had those skyscrapers. When's the last time we've had a big guy like that?
Colby Young or Isaiah Horton? Yeah.
So, but it didn't seem like Isaiah Horton was about 6'2", wasn't he?
Like 6'3".
Was he? Okay, maybe it didn't seem like he played that big. He will for Alabama this year, of course. But
Langham was probably the biggest one we've had in forever.
We had Langham, yeah, we had them, but we haven't had a game breaker, game changer.
No.
We had the kid that transferred to Georgia. He was a tall guy, I thought, right? He was
Colby Young.
What his name was? Yes, not Kobe Young. There was another guy before him.
Frank Ladson.
Was it Frank Ladson? Okay.
The kid that went to Georgia that just, he's in the
NFL.
NFL.
He was always open, but he dropped the ball sometimes. That's what I'm thinking of a few years ago. So
Lawrence Cager.
That's Lawrence Cager, which I remember when he was recruiting, he was loud. He was out there for the Canes. He was recruiting hard. That's one thing that always cracks me up. Guys, you get somebody there recruiting so hard for you, doesn't work out the next year or two, they're at another team. And he transferred when there was no NIL portal. Did he sit out a year, I think?
Yes, I believe he did. Yes.
Yeah.
No. He went as a
grad
back
transfer?
then before the transfer portal. When you're a grad transfer, you didn't have to do it.
Yeah, grad transfer. Yep, that's exactly. He's in the NFL still.
Yeah, I think so. You love to see a lot of these guys. He's where?
He moved to tight end.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. You love to see these guys. You don't think, and you see them play 7, 8, 9 years in the NFL, and it's just amazing because that's every kid's dream. Even if you're not a star, if you hang around that, you've got life. You've got all the benefits and the pension and everything like that. Elwood said, "I hear Tua is training with Liam to learn how to fall properly for a whole season." All right. Well, we will see how that goes this year.
One thing I'll share about that Georgia State wide receiver, Ted Hurst, had a conversation with someone that would know in between shows. And I do think there is a chance Miami could express some interest there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
So how many receivers do you think we could get still?
Anywhere between 2 to 3, I think reasonably 2.
Really? Okay. So, but none of the guys, the guys that are the planned starters. Do we have 2 starters right now? Who would be our starters?
JoJo.
If they didn't add anyone between, like, let's say hypothetically, they didn't add anyone from the portal. I think you would see JoJo, like Cliff mentioned, CJ Daniels, and either probably like some type of rotation between Malachi Tony and Ray Joseph.
So we're possibly starting as true freshmen. That's going to be 17, which is fine.
He's really good.
Hey.
You know, I know. I mean, well, the two guys, one at Ohio State and one in Alabama, did pretty good as true freshmen. So Jeremiah obviously was probably 18 or 19, but what was it, Riley Williams? Who was the other? What was the other young man? Ryan Williams. Yeah. So
I mean, we definitely have experience at wide receiver. I mean, we're super young there. So
yeah, we're super. Even JoJo's a sophomore, right? And Ray is a sophomore or junior now.
Yeah. Ray is a junior now.
Yeah. So we need some senior talent here.
guys that have played in numerous games. Double.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Especially we want Beck to have every opportunity. Something we talked about last week is the kicker. Welcome to the show. 1 milligram of epinephrine. Are they going to be looking for another kicker? And we dropped that news. Cliff, you weren't on the show last week, but it was your news about the kicker transferring that Gio said was an unbelievable catch and find by you. We now, since that conversation, we talked about our kicker has left the program, right? Yeah. So we have one kicker right now, and he's our kickoff guy. What are we going to be doing for another leg on the roster?
Well, that Texas State kid that Cliff mentioned, he already picked the school. So unfortunately,
he's not coming to us. Okay, so we lost him.
Yeah.
Who's he going to?
Hold on. Forgot which program he committed to, actually.
Another Texas
State kicker. He would have been perfect, though.
We should have paid that kid a fortune.
Mason Shipley, yeah. He went to...
Great name.
Where did he go to? Texas got him.
Yeah, I knew. Well, I just couldn't think of which one.
He took a stroll right down the street.
Yeah. So, all right. I really thought we were going to get him.
Bro, we need somebody, though. I'll tell you that.
We need someone. And, like I mentioned in the last show, it's only a few years ago where we couldn't kick a field goal the first 4 games of the season and we were losing games. And you look at it, you miss those, the difference sometimes between winning and losing is one kick.
Yep.
And that's a, difficult situation. Even when Barragales, Andre went ahead the first game against Virginia with, what do you have, that 15 or 35-yard field goal, which Manny Diaz was just laying on the ball. Everybody was yelling, and then he missed an easy kick. That was probably the last easy kick he missed, but you just never know. You need to make those kicks. It's the difference between winning and losing. You hate to see 59 minutes put on the field and fighting for a victory, and then it comes down to last second kick that you miss.
Here's the thing, though. It's like some people thought I was joking when I mentioned like there's a little bit of a situation going on at kicker, and it's unfortunate. Carter Davis, heck of a kickoff guy. He could really boot it. It's just some concerns like of accuracy. Him coming over from FAU, really great on kickoffs. Ton of touchbacks over his career. Just as a kicker, though, he's notched like 2 for 3 beyond 50, but anything below that, it's been a little murky.
You know of anybody else, Gio, that's even out there?
Someone brought up to me. I'm not saying that Miami goes in this direction, but someone brought up to me the kicker that just left Texas. I think that's a little dicey in itself because he was basically pushed out because they were having problems with him last year.
Oh, Jesus.
No, that's such an important position. I'm sure that hopefully Mario and the staff figure this one out.
Maybe they find a community college guy somewhere or something.
There's a lot of soccer players around. And everyone's playing soccer down here now. Get a Messi Jr. out there. And, it's the way it is now. These kids, they can kick a soccer ball. They can kick a football probably.
We've got it. We've had it good the last 5 years with Borregales.
Yeah, we have under the Borregales brothers, and we were really blessed. Yeah. I think that's why we won those multiple championships. Oh, too soon. What else do we got? So we got the basketball program rolling in the right direction. We're all excited about that. Actually, we're just going to talk briefly on it since we've actually, not given them any credit whatsoever. The baseball program is what have they won? 3 series in a row against the ACC?
They've won 3 series in a row. They just took down a Georgia Tech team that was ranked 14th in the country. They're clicking at the right time of the year. You're getting closer to the end of the season. Look, I know I was really harsh on them about a month ago. I think rightfully so. When you get run ruled by your rival in Florida State, you never want to see that happen. But they're playing hard. They're playing hard. They're playing well. The bats are live now too, so it's great to see. I hope it continues. I hope that the RPI continues to go up, and maybe Miami could find themselves in the postseason if everything continues clicking.
What is our record now?
Last I checked, it was Cliff. They're at like 24 or 25 wins now, right? 24 or 25.
Yeah, 20.
It would be an amazing story just to get to the postseason.
Oh,
it would be an amazing story. Yes, everybody's counting them out. Fire everybody. Get rid of the program. Change it over. I think there'd be a lot of people unhappy. Actually, I hate to say it, that if you win, a lot of times it's no different than the football program. When Coach L started winning again, people are like, "Oh no, now we can't fire him." And then he went on to go at the Elite Eight and the Final Four. They didn't want Golden to win. So hopefully he loses. Same thing with Manny. If he wins this game again, we're gonna go ahead and have to keep him. So everybody always wants what's new, what's shiny and new, even if it's a retread from another team.
Shiny new toy syndrome.
That's exactly. I like that. Shiny new toy syndrome. Yes. What's that? SNT. I like it.
Where we live. I don't know. I just can't do that. I want to see them make the postseason. You can still fire somebody if they make the postseason. Have them make the postseason. Who cares?
There's something to be said about that. With the Miami Heat, I was thinking, okay, if they don't make it, they may get one of the top draft picks, but you never know. A few years ago, they just got in. They just got into the playing game, and they went to the finals.
Yep.
The Florida Panthers, too, 2 years ago, they just got into the playoffs on the last day, and they went to the finals. The next year, they win the championship. By the way, I am wearing a Panther championship shirt because it is Panther playoff season. They are the defending champions right now, and they just destroyed the Tampa Bay Lightning. And
big win last night. Big
win, totally demolished. Where Kachuk came back, and he is the guy that stirs this team up, and just unbelievable. The Panthers line after line after line are just coming at you, so they have a chance to go far again.
Most definitely.
And it's exciting because I know last night Jeff and I were over at Quarterdeck in Sawgrass. I had a little table there. We'll be there Thursday night as well. And just the bars are more crowded. The restaurant, everybody. When your team is winning, everybody is excited. It is great for the whole area, and you hope it rubs off. You want it to rub off on the Canes. Because if you're winning, it's contagious. And but at CanesWear, I'm glad we brought it up, but we do have all the Florida Panther Championship merchandise from last year. We have new merchandise as well for this year. We also have, again, the Sean Taylor and the Ed Reed jerseys from Mitchell Ness, which are flying off the shelves. We just got these awesome super light Adidas shoes, the lightest one we ever had, the orange one. Tried it on today. It was fantastic. It's on our online right now. You can catch that and in the store. And, of course, tomorrow's draft, we've got the CanesWear jerseys for the University of Miami. We got the Xavier Restrepo. We got the Mark Fletcher, who is going to be suiting it back up for the Canes this year. So lots of good things. So come out to the store at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, or visit us online at CanesWear.com, the spot, South Florida sports fan shop. So talk a little bit about the draft. I know Cliff is a giant Dallas Cowboy fan, or he was. Now he pretty much has already said, I'm selling my fandom to whoever picks Xavier Restrepo. Is that correct, Cliff?
Absolutely. I hope him and Cam both go to Tennessee. I would love there. Nashville is a great city, and I love to visit there. So it works out perfect.
All right. So Xavier, are you no longer going to be a Cowboy fan at all? You're still going to like the Cowboys?
No, bro. I'm an old man. I got to stick with my team, but I just.
All right. Heck, I would say I said I was a Panthers. I'm a Panther fan in hockey, but I was a Ranger fan until the Panthers came. Same thing with the Mets and the Marlins. Same things with the Knicks and the Heat. So once you go, Xavier's your boy. You guys have great relationship. So wherever he goes, that's your number one team, right?
Absolutely.
All right, good. So hopefully he goes to the Dolphins, and you can become a Dolphin fan.
Yeah, I love the Dolphins. I'm from, I lived in South Florida for 38 years, so absolutely.
Right. Are you going to be a Tennessee Titan fan?
Yeah. But, I mean, I hope they win. I hope I root for the Canes players on Sundays, bro. The Cowboys so ass for so many years. So I just, I watch all the Canes players. Hopefully they all do well. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Gordon, Phillips, everybody. It doesn't matter. Gregory Rousseau, all them. I root for all them. Doesn't matter.
Well, that's good. No, I agree with that. That's it. If you can have a fantasy team with just Canes football players, that'd be awesome.
Football and every other sport, you root for hopefully the Canes players do good, and the high school kids see that and say, oh damn.
Exactly. I mean, I think this is going to be huge for us. I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed, but the way the odds makers are saying it right, I think Cam is minus 2,000 to be the number one pick in the draft. Tennessee just said, we're no longer going to talk to anybody about trades. We're just drafting our guy. And so I'm pretty confident that is going to be number one Cam Ward.
That's a done deal, I think.
He's already said he thinks the best receivers in football. You mentioned the Tennessee receivers, Calvin Ridley, the best running back, Pollard. So he's all in. And they just picked up in free agency a star left tackle, which is going to be great for Cam. Yep. They brought him over, I think, a huge contract. And I'm hoping they're 100-1, by the way, to win the conference. I know you think that's impossible, but the Washington football team, the Washington Redskins, I forgot what they're called. They were terrible the year before, and look what happened when they got a star rookie quarterback.
Yep.
So you never know. So Cam is 100-1 right now if he's on Tennessee to win the AFC, 200-1 to win the Super Bowl, and 150-1 to be the MVP. Oh. And they'll probably announce the odds in a couple of days of what he is to be the offensive rookie of the year. Exactly. So
that's a jump on right there.
So you got to jump on there. Like Cam was 16-1 to be the number one pick of the draft, and the favorite at that time was no other than Carson Beck, who was the favorite to be the number one pick at that time, and Cam was 16-1. So. And ironically,
we were checking the old betting odds. I was in a group chat today. We were looking at it. He was like top 3 favorite to get to be drafted number 1 overall. Mm-hmm. So I think people forget that.
Yeah,
Carson Beck was very much in that position and could be in that position again. At the big year.
Can you imagine? Obviously, if he's going to go in the top 3 picks for the number 1 pick, the Canes are going to have a good year.
Yeah,
you have to say the Canes are going to go as far as he can take them, I think, and people aren't talking about him at all, except for the Cavendish twins and some other people who are out there. It's kind of funny. Thank you, Cavendish twins, to bring him over, obviously, and now he's ours, and we'll be friends with you and be friends with Carson at the same time. We don't pick any favorites, so. How do you think that helps Carson when you think the team is rallying around him when they see those videos?
I think they probably don't put too much importance on that.
They don't weigh too much. I know Beck had an Instagram post that what motivates you more than anything is something about disrespect. Mm-hmm. He had it on his Instagram that he had posted on his story that made its way around social media and whatnot. Look, I'll put it this way. I've been single a few times before in my life, coming out of long-term relationships. Mm-hmm. I think you have the most drive, focus, and motivation of any time in your life during those moments.
100%. I've been there too.
When you work out more, you eat better. Mm-hmm. You might be out drinking more, but you're also working out more. You're eating better. You know what I'm saying? You're putting in the work, even if it's not sports related. So I agree with Gio on that 100%.
No, I totally agree. If you're, what was the movie with Marky Mark, Invincible or something like that? You remember he played for Philadelphia? Great movie. And he'd read that note. His ex-girlfriend said, "You'll never amount to anything. You're a loser." And he'd read it every day. And there's nothing like that motivation. And you don't have to look forward to possibly, I hate to say it, but possibly the guy with the most Super Bowls, maybe the best player to a lot of people, Tom Brady. He lived with that chip on his shoulder being drafted in the 6th round, and he did not let up on that, and that drove him to greatness.
Yep.
And so, Beck coming over, I think, Georgia, he didn't work out in Georgia the way he wanted to. He probably could have stayed, obviously, right, Gio, and been the starting quarterback this year. He decided to leave.
Yeah, he would have.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he decided to leave, and probably just wants to show he'd like nothing better than to come back and beat Georgia in the playoffs, probably, or even Alabama for that matter.
Yep.
But we're not talking about
We just need him to be healthy. That's it.
we just need him, and everyone thinks like we're taking such a step down from Cam, which we are. Cam was great, but Beck, like I said, was the number, possibly the favorite to be number one, favorite to be the first quarterback, and people are like downplaying. Oh, we'll never have another quarterback as good as number one this year. Well, we've had 5 quarterbacks that weren't as good as number one, and we won 5 championships.
Yeah. Cam
Sure.
Ward is the most talented quarterback to ever play at Miami.
Definitely.
You can make some arguments with like guys like Vinny Testaverde.
Testaverde.
He was a tremendous talent himself, but I think just in the modern era,
Yeah, it's
no one.
Correct. They didn't throw the ball like they did then, but you're right. But Vinny was a special quarterback. Too bad, he threw just 1 or 2 or 5 extra interceptions against Penn State, or we'd have that number 6 locked up. But yeah, when you look at, we love you, Vinny. But when you look at what Cam did, versus Ken Dorsey, obviously Ken Dorsey obviously was a great college quarterback. So many great college quarterbacks we've had. But Cam is probably going to be the best NFL quarterback to ever play at Miami, I would think. And Bernie Kosar had a pretty good career. Vinny had a decent career as well.
Jim Kelly
Played for a while. Steve Walsh played for some. Jim Kelly, of course. Thank you, Cliff. Jim Kelly was the best NFL quarterback. Good.
By the way, some breaking news for the show. One of those 4 or 5 safeties Miami's looking at, he'll be on campus tomorrow. Gregory Smith from Florida.
Gregory Smith. So
there
was he the one that was going to re-sign, that it was said that he was re-signing automatically? And then they said, well, whoever's given that Gator news. So we spoke about that last week. We thought he was going back, right?
Yeah, there was an expectation from the Florida side that he was going back. He had actually told them that he was going to go back, and then he just he decided, you know what, I'm going to go into the market.
All right, well, awesome stuff. We can use it. What is he? Is he a big physical safety, or is
I think big might be an understatement. He's like 6'3", 6'4", 215, 220 pounds. Played in a few games for Florida last year as reserve guy, true freshman, former quarterback coming out of high school too. So he's converting
on that too often. Quarterback going into the safety position.
Yeah.
Even though that is the captain of the D. I mean, a free safety especially is back there, watching over everything. So that's great to know. Gators have had some great safeties in their time. So
you might see the second official trade in college football. Mm-hmm. First, it was Nico Iamaleava for Joey Aguilar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This week, and then the next one you'll possibly see could be Zaquan Patterson for Gregory Smith.
That would be awesome.
Wow,
that'd be awesome because I'd never heard of a trade in college football.
Just,
and then we see
they're
that
swapping schools.
They're swapping schools, and that's kind of interesting that the 2 quarterbacks switched, and that and you mentioned the kicker from Texas. That's it. One guy takes a job, someone else has to go. He said, "Wait, there's an open. If a guy goes, Pat, we need a guy too. Just we'll take the guy you don't want." And a lot of times, that guy that the second guy will have a chip on his shoulder, as we say.
Well, Gregory Smith was recruited by our coach now, so that's another situation that could be out in our favor there.
Well, that would be exciting. We definitely need guys that are big on there. And maybe if he hits like a linebacker, it would be awesome. Any news on linebackers? Any luck there?
Yeah. 2 of them they're interested in, actually. So you have Harrison Taggart from BYU, former Mario Cristobal recruit, actually, before Mario up and left Oregon and what they say was the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So this kid, he started his career at Oregon. He ran a 10.69 in the 100-meter coming out of high school. He's about 6'1", 230 pounds now, had 70 tackles last year for the BYU Cougars. Really productive guy. There's been some contact between both parties. And then the latest one, you have Kamal Bonner, redshirt freshman out of NC State, had about 56 tackles this year, about 6'2", over 200 pounds. Some people have concerns about the size, but you watch the tape, he moves very well. Two guys that are in play there that they've been having discussions with, so they could just kind of got to make a decision and go from there. I think the interesting aspect is like with the receivers we spoke about earlier, Taggart, he played at the same school with Keelan Marion, who will be on campus this week too. So again, there's been some talks. Are they a package deal? Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes things don't really fall that way. Sometimes guys got to go their separate ways, but we'll see. And defensive tackle wise, though, they had the Boise State kid on campus, Braxton Feely, 6'1", 297 pounds, really productive pass rusher. There were some concerns there about how he stacks up against the run game. I think Miami's going to be a little bit patient in that aspect of the defensive tackles. I think they anticipate a few more names to hop into the transfer portal over the next couple of days. So not saying that they do or don't take Feely, but it's a process that they're going to wait out a bit.
Gee, what do you think about linebacker? We take one or we possibly take two there?
I think they'll take one. They have some young pieces at linebacker. It's just more so wanting to get another veteran presence in there and someone that could actually impact the team this year and play starter quality reps.
Okay. If you had to pick one of those two guys, who do you think is better fit for us?
Well, I just think upside-wise, I think Bonner from NC State would make a lot of sense because you get multiple years out of that guy. You're talking about 3 years potentially, maybe 2 if he becomes like an early NFL draft prospect. Taggart, you're really only getting 1 year.
Yeah.
So, and a rental year is not a terrible thing either. This is going to be, because you got a guy for 2 years. There's no guarantee he's staying the next year.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people said, I wish Cam Ward stayed another. All I hear is all year in the store. Wish Cam was staying another year. I said, I'm just happy to have him for 1 year. You can have a guy for 5 years and doesn't do anything, and you can have a guy for 1 year and just shows out.
You could have a kid that has 3 or 4 more years left, but this day and age of college football, he moves after a year, and then he moves again after that year. You never know. But like Gio said, it's better to
to know and plan, of course.
Stay for 2 or 3 years.
Good point, Cliff. Let's see. Smooth Abrasive, welcome to the show. We got the best names today on these board names. Maybe the Dolphins will take Arroyo. We're going to get into NFL draft. We're going to do 15 minutes of NFL draft with Canes players in a minute. Dolphins taking Arroyo? I think that would be a great pick for them. They do have the excellent tight end from last year, the Dolphins. How is Arroyo blocking, though? Do you think he is more of a receiver in the NFL, or do you think he can block as well?
I think he could block as well. He could play inline, can flex out. Big-time vertical threat, very deceptive speed. Like, people don't realize how fast Elijah Arroyo really is. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, he got his ankle nicked up between the Senior Bowl and then with the combine and whatnot, so he didn't end up running. But I think he would have tested very, very, very well if he got the opportunity. It's just unfortunate with that. I think just the tape speaks for itself. So I could see maybe like 2nd or 3rd round for him. I think guys like him and Damian Martinez are on that bubble, like 2nd, 3rd round.
Awesome. We're going to go over each player in a minute. Hassan asks, hey, fellas, do you guys think Miami will go after Justin Flo? They do need middle linebacker. What a way to finish college career with Mario where it started. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think Miami will go in that direction. I'd be surprised. They kind of passed on him the first time when he entered the portal. I don't think they'll circle back there. I'd be kind of surprised, to be honest.
Okay, so
has he
possibility, but you don't see it happening.
He hasn't been, obviously.
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Cliff?
I was gonna say, has he been hurt a lot? Because a 5-star, he was a monster, and then he just hasn't done anything.
Yeah, he's had quite a few injuries throughout his career.
Yeah, I figured because he didn't do anything at Oregon barely. That one big hit that I remember, but then Arizona, I don't even remember him playing barely.
Vito, first-time listener, thank you for joining the show. We appreciate you. He's a big Lion. He's a Lions fan. My question is, I think the Lions tomorrow make a big move in the draft to make a run at bowl. Don't know how, don't know who or how they do it, but I think it happens. What's your thoughts on that?
On the Lions potentially making a move?
It says
I think they're right on the cusp of it. They have some really serious young talent on that team, but
all right, so they definitely both this year. I thought they were going to get to the Super Bowl the way they were playing. So
They were
their defense started playing better. It says their offense. I mean, they've obviously got Gibbs. They've obviously got the good receivers. I don't think they're going to go away from their quarterback. I mean, I think defense, someone like that, they can use. They can go back to getting who was it? Benny Blades who played for the Lions, correct?
Yeah, Benny.
He was the third pick of the draft. So if they can get someone like a Benny Blades, that would definitely help them. So I like to see that. I'm a fan of the Lions, always have been since the old days, and would love to see them to make a run and get a Super Bowl ring if it's not the Dolphins. Hassan asks also, Damian Martinez looks like Steelers running back. I really hope they draft him. I'm in agreement with that. Shadar Sanders believes he's going to be the first. He's going to be the first pick of the Steelers, even though I'm hearing not such great things about him. And there was a time that they were talking about who's better, Cam or Shador. But Damian Martinez, I think, would be an excellent for the Steelers. I love him for the Dolphins. I just think he's going to be an awesome running back in the NFL. What's your thoughts on that?
On Damian Martinez as an NFL running back?
For the Steelers, do you think that's
I think he fits that mold of a Steelers type of running back. I could definitely see that. Battering ram type. Some deceptive speed there too. I think he would make a lot of sense for the Dolphins. Look, people don't even know this. Like, I don't have a favorite NFL team. I just watch no orange and green shades or anything like that, or orange and teal. I think he would help them a lot. I think he would be a great fit next to A-Chain as well. Or they call him A-Chan.
A-Chan, exactly.
I remember in college they used to call him A-Chain, and then when he got to the league, he said, no, it's not A-Chain, it's A-Chain.
Yes, I know. It's amazing when players change their name. They change their name. I remember when Mike Stanton became Giancarlo Stanton. There's so many others that changed their name. So I'm going to call up some players' names, and you're going to say where you think they may be drafted, Gio. Anybody can chime in on the comments, and how you think what's the upside of the NFL. Okay, let's go from I have a list. Let's go from the lowest on this list is Jacoby George. What's your thought on him? Do you think he'll be drafted? If so, what round? And where do you think? What kind of career do you think he can have?
I could see him sneaking into like a 6th or 7th round late draft pick. There'll be some concerns about the size. I know some teams will have some concerns about like some on-field antics and whatnot. He actually is a very productive college football player. I think teams will value that. 6th or 7th round for him. I think he could sneak in.
I think he's going to be a great third down receiver. He gets open all the time. I mean, he limps off the field a lot too. It seems like he takes it and then he limps off, but then he's back the next play. I think he got a little bit better in controlling his. He wouldn't get upset as much, which is difficult when you're a smaller receiver and guys are probably beating up on you. But I think he's going to be an excellent third down receiver. I hope he goes in the 6th or 7th. It would be nice to do that. What's your thoughts on Jacoby George in the draft, Cliff?
I think he can maybe even, if he interviewed well, I'm not sure how he interviewed, but I could see him sneaking in maybe the 5th round.
Wow.
I mean, he has great skills. I mean, he has, hands. Great
hands. Yeah. That's open. Always it's open. How fast is he? What is his speed?
I don't remember what he ran. Gio, do you remember? Maybe he ran like 4.6 or something.
For who? Jacoby George?
Yeah.
No, he had a
4.59.
He ran really well.
He had a 4.5 and a 4.6 during. Yeah.
So yeah,
Michael Irvin was a 4.6, wasn't he, when he was here? I know if you guys remember that Michael Irvin was a 4.6, if I recall. Moving right along.
interviews with him, I guess, and how they see the game film.
You think that him limping, like a lot of times he was injured, do you think they look at that, the NFL, or the fact that he was always playing though, but he just was getting up slowly?
I don't know. That'd be more of a Geo question. I mean, as long as you're playing, even if you're limping or not, I guess you're in there still battling. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Taz, welcome to the show. Taz, haven't seen you up there. Good seeing you, Taz. Let's go Canes. Hassan says, I can see George drafted by the Patriots. I can see that. There you go. Cliffy with the with throwing up the U. Okay, let's see. Kiko or Francisco Marinoga, linebacker. What do we think? What do we think? You think he's going to be drafted? You think he's going to be a free agent?
I think he's a wild card because his senior year wasn't what people were expecting it to be, especially after he had that really good junior year, 17 tackles for loss, like just really, really good. But I think a lot of it was just based on how he was used in the scheme and whatnot.
Correct.
I think there's obviously some potential limitations there in terms of him playing out in space, like dropping into coverage. That's really hard. I'm going to go with, I think a team takes a flyer on him in the 6th round.
Wow. I think that's a great kid, by the way.
But yeah, he's a great kid. I think somebody will pick him up too at the 6th or 7th round. If he came
out last year, where do you think he would have been drafted?
That's what I was going to ask you.
I'd say maybe the 5th round.
Do you think he may have lost
4th a year ago, potentially?
That's pretty scary. You come back, run it back, and you get it. And it's happened to many players where they've got a tougher draft period. Him and his brother collected for the Ronald McDonald House. We did a nice signing. Great guys. All right, so we're thinking anywhere from possibly 6th round, we're saying, for Kiko, right? Okay. Sam Brown. Where do we think Sam, if he will be drafted? 6'2", ran a 4. Actually, I still got the stats here. He's 6'2". First of all, Kiko ran a 4.6. Wow, I didn't think he was that fast. 6'3", 4.6 is pretty good size.
Yeah.
Got Jacoby is a 4.44 here, which I didn't know. Let's see, Sam Brown, 6'2", 4.44, 40. What do we think? Do we think Sam is going to be drafted?
I think a team may fall in love with the measurables. There will be concerns just like character-wise. There were some things that happened during his time at Houston. A couple of things even while he was with Miami as well. Again, he's another that I put in the wild card category like Kiko for different reasons, though. I could see anywhere from 5th to undrafted.
I have nothing against Sam, but there's so many receivers out there. It's going to be very difficult to be drafted. But I could be wrong. He's obviously got the size. He's 6'3". He's got the speed. So we'll see what happens. So like to see it. Like to see all Hurricanes drafted. Any idea how many people we had drafted last year?
Last year you had, hold on.
A couple of years ago, we had almost none, right? It was like
well, the year before, yeah. So you had, Matt Lee had snuck in late. You had James Williams, Cam Kinchins.
I 5, maybe.
Who was our highest pick?
The highest pick, I believe it was Cam.
Cam went in the 1st round, right?
Hold on, I want to double check it.
I think Cam went in the 3rd round. No.
Yeah, he went 3rd round.
He went 3rd. Okay.
That was the highest pick. I had to jump off here for a second. My son called me and knocked me out. Did you guys say where do you think X was going to go?
We haven't got there yet, Cliff. We're moving on up, but we're going to get there. Tell Cliff Jr. to stay tuned, turn on his podcast, and
he didn't even know I was on here. He
didn't know where you are. Well, it's nothing like good father-son connection.
Yeah, Cam went in the 3rd round. It was Cameron Kinchins, Matt Lee, James Williams, and Jaden Davis. That was the name I was missing, Jaden Davis.
Okay.
I totally forgot about that.
Me too. And a couple of years ago, we had, 4 years ago when Jalen and Greg were drafted in the first round, correct?
Yep.
Both of them. That was a great draft for us.
It was incredible, too, that Greg still went first round and he sat out a year.
Exactly.
That was amazing. Can you imagine if he would have played?
Oh,
that would have been awesome. So I forgot that he sat out the year. I mean,
Speaking
and
of last year's draft, Cam Kitchens played unbelievable last year.
Cam was a beast last year.
Defensive rookie of the year. I mean, that's how good of a year he had.
Absolutely. Simeon Barrow, 6'3", 290 pounds, runs about a 4.98 40. What do we think about? He was not invited to the combine, was it, or the Senior Bowl? What was it?
Senior Bowl nor combine, which I think was absolutely criminal considering the season he had. And then he goes out there on pro day. On the bench rep, he had what would have been the highest number for all defensive linemen that attended the combine this year. And then he goes out and runs a 40 for a defensive tackle.
4.9.
For 5 seconds. He earned himself a lot of money. I see a team taking him third or fourth round. I truly do. I think a team is going to fall in love with him.
Yeah, that's a guy that's going to have a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, and good for him. You know, look at those numbers he put up, and not being invited to either one of those things is crazy.
Dolphins can use him.
Senior Bowl.
Dolphins can use him staying home, and that would be awesome. But you're not invited. You're also going to possibly. Do you think he'll fall through the cracks a little bit? That not every team is going to know him as well. He obviously, outside of the pro day, where have they seen him?
Yeah, well, I know teams, they schedule the individual meetings with some players too, so I'm sure he had some of that as well. I think that there will be a team that will fall in love with him just between the amount of production that he's had. It's not only just Miami, just the production he had from Michigan State leading into Miami, and then what he did with his pro day performance. I think he, out of anyone, he probably boosted his stock the most of any guy's postseason.
Oh, that's awesome. So we hope to see definitely. So third or fourth round, you're thinking for
Simeon Barrow, yeah.
Yes, Simeon. I apologize for that. Let's see what we got. We got 1 milligram asked about Justin Flo. We answered that question before. We don't think we're going to take him, correct? We don't think he's going to come back. Hassan said 5. I assume he's probably talking about one of the guys that we're probably talking about either Sam Brown, Kiko, or Jacoby. And Taz, I'm loving the Drain the Swamp Beat Florida shirt. I love that shirt. And I told Jeff that shirt's going to sell for the season, the game against Florida as well. And you got good to hear. You got that shirt last week from CanesWear. Thank you, Taz. Taz has been a supporter from the warehouse days. Appreciate you, Taz. I remember like yesterday, the first day he came in. And Taz is a good friend of mine, a good friend of the program, good friend of the store. Thank you so much, Taz. So we love you, man. Next player we're going to talk about is Tyler Barron. 6'5", 260 pounds. Does he run a 4.62 40? Is that possible? Wow.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm probably the most interested in because he played so well in the beginning and then kind of disappeared. And
what the heck happened?
And he wanted to just get sacks, I guess, and not do what the team wanted him to do. I'm not.
He looked like an Outland Trophy guy. He was dominating.
Oh, he was destroying people in the beginning.
So destroying people. Where do you think he's going to go, Gio?
I think 5th or 6th round for him. Just off he tested very well. Yes, great size too, but I think there will be questions about the production. But pass rushers are a premium in the league, and I think someone will take a flyer on him late. 5th or 6th round.
Pass rushers are definitely, and you can put them in there on third downs and things like that. I agree. So another claim we think will be drafted. Jalen Rivers, offensive tackle, 6'5", 325 pounds. What do we think about Jalen's chances to get drafted?
Did he run, Brett?
I'm sorry?
Did he run the 40?
Did he run the 40? Did he run the 40? Let's see. He ran the 40 in 5.29, Cliff. He'd still beat us.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not bad. He's solid. I like him a lot.
I know, speaking of someone that there was some concerns about, like, could he actually play tackle at the next level? What's highly valued about him is the versatility that he could play all 5 positions on the line.
Oh, wow.
Viewed as a swing guy on the offensive line, your usual 6-man on offensive line units. I don't think he'll go as high as people initially expected him to before the season started. I think you'll see a 5th round for him.
And, we've seen guys get 5th round. I remember plenty of Canes that have not been drafted high, and then they sign their second contract, and they're getting a fortune. Who was the guy we had for Jacksonville a few years ago, signing that huge contract? Who was it again?
Rayshawn Jenkins?
Yeah, so Rayshawn Jenkins, but someone on the offensive line also.
Linder.
Exactly. And but so many guys that were just they were good offensive linemen, and they just went ahead and got great contracts. Offensive linemen, if you stay healthy and you're productive, that years ago you wouldn't think about the offensive linemen making so much money, but they make a fortune now.
Yep.
Everybody wanted to be the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver. Everyone wanted to be a running back. And until a few years ago, they say, hey, running backs aren't getting drafted anymore. Who would have thought that would be the case? Let's see. Moving along, we've got one of my favorites, who I think is going to be a beast in the NFL. I really do. Is Damian Martinez, 6 foot, 232 pounds, 4.51, a wrecking ball. Where do we think Damian's going to go?
2nd or 3rd round.
2nd or 3rd. I like it. We got one guy that said he wants him on the Steelers. I want him on the Dolphins. A fullback is such a key position. I will always think of, if we would have given him the ball more this year, especially against Syracuse, we would have been the ACC championship game. He was dominating, and he got better as the games went on.
Yep.
He wore teams down.
He got a lot better to the season, like Gio was saying earlier about the stock going up. Throughout the season, he got better and better and better.
Exactly. He could not be tackled at times. They just couldn't tackle him. So who would you say he compares to in the NFL? Would you say he compares to
I know someone threw out a comparison recently. I saw it on social media, Marshawn Lynch. I don't know if I would say exactly Marshawn Lynch, but
I think it's a little different than Marshawn Lynch. Do you think he's like Henry a little bit?
Like Derrick Henry? No, Derrick Henry's much bigger.
Bigger, yeah. So he's taller. So we'll see what happens. But
I know bigger, but remember Steven Jackson that played for the Rams?
Yeah, Steven Jackson.
I can see that.
I
think smaller version, yeah.
Yeah, smaller version of him. I think he plays a little bit like that.
I love he just runs forward. Not a lot of, like he just running forward, running people over. He's not doing a lot of side to side. Heck, the Hurricanes didn't have a play, I think, on a sweep last year in the whole playbook. So everything was right up the middle, and they know he's coming. He's still running over people. So I think that's going to really going to help him. What do you think about him? We didn't utilize him a lot like that, but what about his pass catching ability?
I think he kind of surprised some people with that because he didn't show a lot of that at Oregon State, with Cam having to scramble out of the pocket and sometimes I know Cam wasn't like the biggest fan of check downs, but there was times that he did find Martinez. And I look back even to that California game, the one where Martinez was just right place, right time, picked up a really key first down.
Yes. He had said that you're right. I forgot about that one. All right.
Believable.
So what do you think, Cliff? 2nd or 3rd round as well?
Yeah, I think 2nd. I would love, like I said, I'm being a Cowboys fan. I'd love the Cowboys to take him in a 2nd.
All
3rd.
right. We're back to the Cowboys. Okay, good. So I'm done with the Cowboys. I'm done with them. Let's see. Andres Borregales. What do we think about Andres? How does he compare versus brother, who his brother's not in the league anymore, correct?
Never was in the league. I just don't understand. I still don't.
I never understood that at all.
No,
I never understood that at all. And, terrible. But what do you think about Andres going? Do we think he'll be drafted? It's not that easy for a kicker to be drafted because they just pick him up as free agents.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult. I think undrafted. Don't want to hedge bets here, but if someone does draft him, it's probably really late into the 7th.
Mhm. Correct. Kickers, they're, if you play fantasy football, which a lot of people do, myself included, you're always looking for that kicker and you're saying, okay, I don't know. It's great when you have the great kicker, but then you say, who did really well the last few weeks? And you always see somebody on the free agent board that's like, wow, this guy's awesome. I'm not saying that there's so much pressure involved. It's each individual situation is the key, but I do think this kid is going to be special. I mean, he really he missed that kick against Virginia, like I said, and he really never let down again. I mean, he was just awesome. So I think he's going to be special.
Great family, great,
Great family, exactly. Great family, and I hope both brothers get a chance in the NFL.
I still don't know why Jose's not in the NFL.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So we may have to start a league just so these kids can get in it. Okay, we'll call it the CanesWear Football League. Do they have CFL already? Maybe it'll be the CWFL, a little bit of football, a little bit of wrestling. Let's see what we got here. Xavier Restrepo, the next person, 5'10". I hate looking at this 40 time, 4.83. That is, I know that is completely BS. I think he hurt his he hurt his hip or his hamstring or something. I mean, Xavier always got open when he turned the corner. He caught that ball. He'd always get by the defender. So Xavier, 210 pounds. It has him 209. I think a lot of people believe, unfortunately, because of the way the season ended and because of the way he did he went ahead and he showed in that 40. His stock probably dropped a little bit, which is too bad. He's a great kid, great family. Hopefully teams overlook that. Hopefully Cam is saying to the Titans, listen, I think you should bring my boy X with me. Grab him when you can. I really would like to use this guy. I think we can go a lot further with him. I don't know if kids do that, but I think Cam would say that. What do you guys think? Where is he going to get drafted?
Or quarterbacks say stuff like that.
I think before all the combine stuff and everything, I think he could have been a late second, third round guy, just off the production and everything that he had shown in college. I think, unfortunately, some teams are going to weigh, unfortunately, they do this a lot because this is just a lot about the measurables, the size, the speed. You see guys every year that get drafted and you wonder, where did he come from? Or what? He only had this amount of yards or catches or whatever. It happens every year.
Yeah.
I think fifth round. I don't think he goes undrafted though. Someone's going to take him. Just too much production to just have him completely off the board, basically.
Yeah, I agree on that.
I agree too. I thought he was a second, third round pick before, and then I said fifth round too. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I think so. Where was I know there's always that comparison to him and Braxton.
Yeah.
And when he came to the team, people thought, no way is he going to be as good as Braxton. But, I think they're different type of players in a lot of ways. But I think he has, obviously, we've seen Braxton's career. He was a great kick returner. I don't think he reached the potential that a lot of us fans thought he would, especially when he was drafted by New England. And you thought, wow, he's going to be the next great receiver at New England, following the footsteps of Wes Welker. But how would you compare Xavier to Braxton?
Height similar. I think play style very different. I think Braxton was a more explosive athlete. I think Xavier he's more like a running back that is playing slot receiver. As soon as he gets the ball in open field, it's just running over guys or making the miss.
Yeah. I think
I don't want to say. Look, I don't want to say Deebo Samuel because I think Deebo Samuel's the better athlete of the two, but I wouldn't be surprised if a team considers that aspect. Maybe we could use some wrinkles in our offense like the 49ers did with Deebo. I don't know if he'll be as good, but
that's a great point. I think he could be utilized that underneath. He's going to get open every time. And nobody has the drive this kid has.
No.
I mean, the drive, the determination, his faith, his beliefs. So I think whatever team gets him is going to be happy surprised. Okay, if that's a word, happy surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could be a really solid slot receiver in the NFL.
If he's healthy, I think he can have a long career.
Yep, I agree.
So, and you just never know. It all determines who's your quarterback too. I mean, the guys that Tom Brady was throwing to, you never thought that they would have the careers they did. He had like one great receiver in Randy Moss, probably. Never had another great receiver, if you think about it.
I always say, it only takes one of those teams to fall in love with you.
Exactly.
Third round.
I'd love to see him go to Tennessee with Cam.
I would love that. That would be
I'd love to see him come to the Dolphins. Dolphins just got that kid from Virginia last year who's a stud, who was the all-time, had the greatest year. So we'll see if the Dolphins want to utilize someone like that. So especially they're no longer with Braxton, so we'll see. Moving along, Elijah Arroyo, who to me was the most underutilized player on the Miami Hurricanes. Even though he did have a good year, I thought we could have used him a lot more. Elijah's at 6'4", 245. I didn't even realize he was that big. 4.69 in the 40. What's our thoughts on him?
Is that 40 accurate? Because I don't think he ran a 40 at the combine or the pro day.
I don't think he did. Remember, he was hurt or something. I don't think he did any of that.
So I don't know where they got that, but
because I believe he's much faster than that.
I say, okay, well, that'll be good. But you think he could be an every down tight end, correct?
Yes.
All right. So how would he compare to who do we have? We've got I picked him as a long shot to be the first tight end in the draft. You won't. We got the kid from Penn State. Who's that? Mason Graham?
Warren.
Oh, Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren. And then you've got, Graham's a tight end?
Graham.
No, Mason Graham is the defensive lineman from Michigan.
No, it's Mason the other one. Mason Taylor, right?
Mason Taylor from LSU.
Yes. Jason Taylor. So is he going to go as high as Mason Taylor, do you think?
I don't think he will, simply off that Arroyo's first real year of production, was truly this past season. He had flashes before, but this was his first real year. Multiple injuries. It took a while for him to get back on the field. And then you mix in getting hurt, Senior Bowl, not participating in combine because of the ankle issue, then carried over to pro day. He didn't run or anything. He did do the simulation stuff with Cam Ward and those guys, but he didn't run his 40 that day. So I think he's going to slide. I think he's going to slide down. I think fourth round.
Wow. Someone's going to get a steal. So
I was about to say third, but I think fourth round, just simply off the injury concerns. I think some teams are going to back away because they may have concerns okay, how long is this guy going to play, or is he going to stay healthy for us?
Yeah, I can see that.
It's he's obviously would have got a nice payday at Miami to come back. He didn't know that Carson Beck, who had the amazing year with Brock Bowers a couple of years ago, because obviously we got Lofton as a tight end. But can you imagine if Arroyo was coming back also? How awesome that team would be. I mean, and Beck had that great ideal connection with his tight end before. I mean, I think the team would be so much deeper if he would have came back. Hopefully, he may have a great year, but if you draft him in the fourth round, you may as well just come back because he probably would have got $1 million to come back. Don't you think so?
Arroyo, yeah. He would have got paid a pretty penny if he decided to come back, but I understand why he made the decision to enter it. I mean, you finally got healthy. You had a big year. You had Cam Ward. I think all the stars aligned for him that it was too much of a risk to come back.
Yeah. God forbid he would have got hurt this year coming back. I mean, then I think he had to go.
Exactly. He declared before Carson Beck came also, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he didn't know Beck was going to be here. At that point in time, he said, who's going to be throwing me the ball? I just had a year with Cam Ward, the best player in America, and I got to take advantage of it. Hassan, great comment. Martinez reminds me a little bit of Deuce Staley, was quite the runner.
Steelers.
Is Deuce Staley was as big as Martinez?
I think he's
Martinez is a bit slimmer, but I can kind of understand what he's trying to say, though.
Deuce played for Philadelphia?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And the last player, last but not least, wait, before I get to Cam, did I miss anybody that may be drafted or anybody else that's coming out of senior that I should have mentioned, Gio?
You had other guys like Mish Powell and some of the
true.
other tackles, but I don't think those guys get drafted. I had it marked down here. I looked at the picks that I made. I ended up having 8 guys that I felt sure about getting drafted, and then I had 2 wild cards between Brown and Maunion.
That'd be awesome if we can get 10 picks.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. It's great when you hear Kane.
I would love to see that happen, but there's just so many things that come into play. Like I look back to the Gerald Willis situation many years ago.
How he wasn't drafted.
Amazing on the field, but all the off-field stuff, it just NFL teams didn't want to do it. They didn't want to take the chance.
No, absolutely. I was so surprised when he didn't get drafted. And I've been so surprised when other guys, DJ Dallas, when he dropped so far, seemed like he would look like big plays all day long. He's had a nice career. I thought he would have a better career. I was very upset when the Dolphins didn't draft him. Obviously, I want Dolphins to draft all the Canes. Last but not least, number 1 in our program, number 1 in the field, and probably the number 1 draft pick in the NFL draft tomorrow is Cam Ward. We obviously think he's going to go number 1, so I'm not going to ask you what round do you think he's going to go. So, Cliff, don't try to slide in the 3rd round over there. You got
to guess what color suit he's going to wear.
Yeah.
There you go. What color suit is Cam Ward going to wear?
Baby blue.
Navy blue, yes. I think you're
blue. Baby blue, Carolina blue.
Will Cam start on the first day, on the first game?
Yes.
I think so.
Do you think Cam could make the impact that the Washington quarterback made?
Jaden Daniels?
Yes. Very tough act to follow.
I'm not sure if the Titans have
enough
of the weapons around him already, kind of like, because the problem with Washington before was they didn't really have the quarterback. They had the guys, though. They had guys. They had guys on defense. They had guys on offense. You look at like Scary Terry McLaurin as well. Any Washington fan was begging for them to get a legitimate quarterback instead of your Taylor Heineke's and whatnot.
I mean, and obviously Jaden Daniels his year was probably even more impressive than Cam's year, and he didn't win the Heisman either, right?
Yeah, no, Jaden Daniels actually won.
He did win the Heisman, but he didn't get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But he had 45-3 that year. And last year he was just phenomenal. And he's not that big either. I think Cam seems to be bigger and more, he's just amazing. I did not realize he was that good. He was just exciting to watch.
Oh yeah, Jaden Daniels is incredible. I think you look at quarterbacks recently like Jaden Daniels or CJ Stroud, how they've been able to come in and just change the entire makeup of each of their franchises, basically.
Yeah, right away. Obviously, CJ Stroud brought that, and I don't think CJ is in the class of Jaden Daniels, but he took a step back his sophomore year, his second year, and it happens. Obviously, you look at all the great quarterbacks. The Jacksonville quarterback thought he was going to. A lot of people. He's taken a step back. A lot of these guys are taking step backs. Even when the Dolphins got Tua, who looked great 2 years ago. Obviously, we know what the issues are with him. Obviously, health concerns and also throwing over the middle and just arm strength, cold weather, you name it. Even the guy from San Diego. What's it called? I thought he would be. He looks
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, he still does not look like. And I was one of the few people saying, please draft Justin Herbert, not Tua. Everybody wanted Tua. I thought, okay, you're playing with the best receivers, the best running backs, the best offensive line, the best tight end, and Tua. I mean, Herbert had nobody around him.
Would you trade?
Yeah, so I would have loved to have Herbert, but really Herbert looked good, but he's still not there yet. I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's in the class of Jaden Daniels right now.
No, but I think he's better than Tua, though.
Oh, I definitely think he's better than Tua, too. I mean, I think he's probably better than your guy Dak too. Nothing against Dak, but
I'm better than Dak.
Between Tua and Dak, what they get close to $500 million and
Yep.
and no playoffs,
It's
and no
true.
playoff wins. So we believe that Cam will be the number one pick, unless anybody is doubting that, right? I think everyone knows that, and he's going to be starting on day one, and he's a leader. I'm excited to see Tennessee. I'm definitely going to be rooting for Tennessee when they're not playing the Dolphins. I want to see Cam do well, not just because I want to sell his Canes jerseys, but I want to see him do well. Great family as well.
Tomorrow at 8:00, I'll officially become a pseudo Tennessee Titan fan.
Wow. All right. Always liked them, the Tennessee Titans. You formerly the Houston Oilers.
Yep.
So it's the Tennessee Oilers actually in between. So we shall see. And speaking of the draft, tomorrow, tune in. A great show. You got Bobby Finn's talking his group on FTSN, this network. Just go ahead, like and subscribe, and check out that draft show tomorrow. They're going to be having it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And they're going to be having, they're going to do a couple of giveaways and everything for CanesWear gift cards. All right. Well, longer than I thought. So we're going to close this one out with any last comments from Gio or Cliff. Tell us where people can find you on the draft or anytime.
No, just on X, Cliff311. That's it. And Cam Ward tomorrow will wear a baby blue suit.
Baby blue suit. And how many minutes into the draft do you think we know they've already said, do you think they're going to make it in the split second, or you think they're going to run it out to 15 minutes and then announce it?
Yeah, run it out to 15 minutes.
I think they'll just do it right away. I think
Really?
they've known for months. I wouldn't be surprised if they'll leak it out to a couple of national reporters out there that they're taking Cam.
Mm-hmm.
That there won't be any suspense to it, basically.
Yeah, I'm guessing that too. One last question about that. How much does this help the program, the University of Miami, getting the first round draft pick, the first pick in the draft?
I think it's tremendous for recruiting, and I also think it's tremendous just in terms of the transfer portal as well. You go back to Lincoln Riley's days at Oklahoma. I compared it to this when Miami was going after Cam Ward, and I said, look, if they can elevate that guy's draft stock, then if they can bring in another guy and elevate his draft stock, you're creating something, a sort of scenario where quarterbacks can look at your program like, hey, I could come in here for a year or two, raise my stock, play with good receivers, a great offensive line, a solid run game behind me, tight ends that just keep sprouting out of the program. Like, it doesn't matter who the coach is. There's tight ends that come out of this program every couple of years that will play in the NFL. So I think it's a very favorable situation that Mario Cristobal has created for quarterbacks. And then when you have that draft aspect that you could tell kids, oh yeah, by the way, we had the number one overall draft pick this year. It's a great selling point.
I agree. And every time you see the draft, and you're going to see Cam Ward, University of Miami. It shows where they came from. Cam Ward, University of Miami. One quick story I forgot about that when Calvin when the Ward family was in, I didn't meet Cam at that time, and they were in the store and we were talking and they were getting some stuff, and I was talking to the dad, great family, like I say, and I brought up Joe Burrow, and I said, and he decided that Cam, because remember he was going to the NFL. And who knows, he may have been a second round or may have been a third round or whatever. But he's going. But I said, Joe Burrow, if he would have left LSU the year before he had the great year, he probably would have been a third round draft pick at best. And look what happened. He worked himself to the number one pick in the draft. I said, maybe that will be Cam. I didn't really know enough about Cam at that time that I actually believed that could be the case. But it was like, it happened for Joe Burrow, so maybe it can happen for Cam. And it did happen for Cam. It's just amazing. You're talking about the transfer portal. We got a guy there. It's phenomenal. So it's I think that's definitely going to help as well, Gio. So that's going to be great for recruiting, getting the number one pick. There's always going to from Miami. So
that's always going to be there.
Anything else to add, Gio? I think we lost Cliff.
No, that's pretty much it for tonight.
Where can they see you? I know you got podcast 72 hours a day going on.
Everyone can find me on X at GeoMillion, or also the same on Instagram. Also have a weekly show with Amon Richards called Who Wants Smoke. You can find it on YouTube at Who Wants Smoke _Inc. It streams live on X, YouTube, and it's coming to Instagram very soon as well. So we've had over 10,000 viewers watch the previous 3 before tonight. So we'll see what the final numbers
Fantastic.
come in with.
Gio's doing back-to-back. Amazing. So, Gio, should we pick a winner here? Today, we got a few new people to pick for the gift card. You got a winner. One person, lucky commenter, is going to get a $25 CanesWear gift card. Reach out to Gio at GeoMillion or on X or at Canes_wear for CanesWear. So and give us your information, your name, your email, and we'll get you a $25 gift card for being the lucky commenter.
I think we should go with 1 milligram of epinephrine.
Wow, there you go. 1 milligram of epinephrine. Great name. Please go ahead and send a direct message to Gio or CanesWear at Canes_wear or any of sales at CanesWear.com. Just go ahead, send us your information, and you will get a $25 gift card. I want to thank everybody that joined the show tonight. Thank you for staying up late with us. Remember to click and subscribe on the FTSN network. They got the great draft show tomorrow. Gio, like always, thank you so much. You are awesome, the best in the business, and we are blessed to have you here. And thank you very much. Remember, go to CanesWear, the spot South Florida's fan shop. We will see you soon. Go Canes.
Go Canes.